What really happens when your debt is sold to a collection company? If you don't know who I am, my name is Kenny Johnson. I operate a credit repair company here in Canada, and we help Canadians fix and rebuild their credit. If you need help with your credit, you can send us an email info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com. So, when your debt is sent over to a collection company, a lot of things need to take place. And one of the most common issues or errors that I notice with a lot of Canadians is that they allow their debt to be sent to collections. And so, a lot of times, what I'll tell a lot of the clients that I work with is that in most situations, the fact that your collection account went to collections is your fault. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times the creditor tries to contact you to make a payment on your account. They'll either try to send you an email, they'll try to call you, they'll even try to write you a letter to contact you to see if you're going to be making at least the minimum payment to avoid the account being sent to collection. Now, this also happens over a span of 6 months. And so you've ignored this company for 6 months and you expect them not to take care of their best interest. If you were a creditor and you lend money out to individuals and you needed this money back with interest to take care of your family, to pay your bills, I'm pretty sure you're probably going to sell that debt over to a collection company. And so we can't be upset with creditors when they've tried to reach out, they try to contact us, and we ignore them and we say we're not going to worry about the debt. And then they eventually either take legal action against you or they sell the debt over to a collection company. Now, a lot of people will say, well, my creditor never contacted me, but I don't accept that as a valid excuse. And the reason why is because in a lot of situations, what actually happens is that we as humans, we move, we change phone numbers, we stop using old emails, we use new emails, and we don't update the creditor on that information. And we make it complicated for that creditor to be able to contact us. And so as soon as you move, you change your address, you update a new email, or you change your phone number, you need to communicate that with all of the creditors that you're using because at the end of the day, that's still your fault. And what this really boils down to is a lack of structure. You have a lack of organization because true organization is not going to allow these events to take place. Also, I have to ask you a question. Are you not aware that the credit card that you maxed out is maxed out? Are you not aware that the phone bill that you use to send text messages every day or call people every day is past due on the bill? And so when we ask questions like this, it puts things into perspective a bit and it shows that we need to take responsibility for putting ourselves in collections. Now, there are situations where inaccurate information is being reported not properly. So that's where you need to work with a credit repair company or you need to dispute that information and get it removed off of your credit report. Sometimes these collection companies, they buy information offline and they report it to try to make a quick buck, unfortunately. But that's why there's so many consumer laws in place to protect consumers because this does happen, sadly. Sometimes a collection company sells the debt over to another collection company, and then information gets lost and debt gets increased, interest, unjustifiable interest gets added to the debt. This is why you need to dispute that information and work it off. There are situations where information should not be reporting on your credit report. But if it gets to the point of a collection account, I typically blame the consumer, even though I'm there to help you, because I have to be honest. And I want the clients that I work with to be honest because it makes it easier for us to help you come back from your situation. So even before it reports to the collection section of your credit report. So let's say you've ignored the creditor for 6 months and you get so many chances as a consumer to fix this. So let's say even before this reports to your credit report, you've ignored the creditor for 6 months. Okay, that creditor is going to sell the debt over to the collection company, or they may even contract it. It would be best for you that they contract it. Let's just say they contract it. Okay, they find a collection company such as DCA. DCA is going to reach out to you before they report that. They may even give you a chance. Some collection companies will give you a chance to pay that debt off before it reports to the collection section. this is still an opportunity to get out of it. And so if I were you, what I would do in this situation is I would try to work with that collection company. I would get it in writing. Hey, by the way, DCA, if I make a payment on this account, you're not going to report this to the collection section of either TransUnion and Equifax, right? I would get confirmation, whether that's email or letter. I would get confirmation from the original creditor, make sure that that payment is going to make sure that the payment is actually going to be received by them, that that collection company that they're working with is actually DCA. And then once I receive that, I will move forward. Even after 6 months, you're able to save yourself. But a lot of people ignore this. They don't move forward with it. And it's a problem. Okay. It's a problem. It's a problem. So instead, people ignore this. They ignore this notice. And then it actually reports to the collection section for the next 6 years on TransUnion and the next 7 years for Equifax. Okay. And so if we're looking at a timeline here and we're talking about big lenders, we're not talking about small companies because typically with small companies, they can send it to collections within 30 days. But we're talking about big banks, we're talking about big utility lenders such as Fido. We're talking about a 8 month window where you ignored the creditor and then they finally sent it over to collections and now you feel as if you were unjustified, no one tried to reach out or contact you, I guarantee you in most situations, like 90% of the situations, you were contacted in some form. You just were negligent to it. You chose to ignore it and you thought that it wasn't going to have a negative impact on you or it wasn't going to affect you. You probably thought that a creditor wasn't going to sue you. You'd be surprised how many times I see consumers get sued by Amex. Amex gets their money every single time. They will come after you. They will sue you. They will submit. They will do litigation against you. They don't waste time with collection companies. I rarely see Amex sell the debt over to a collection company. Usually, they're taking legal action. But a lot of creditors will send it over to collection companies. And what a lot of people don't know is that the creditor can have that collection company take legal action against you. And so it boils down to that as well. But it all comes from your negligence. It all comes from you not having a structure. You need to have a plan when dealing with debt. Ideally, you're taking care of the debt before we collection. So when it's a charge off account, and if we have a bunch of charge off accounts or we have a bunch of high balance credit cards, then we need to do the snowball debt method, which isn't anything new. You can go to YouTube, look up Dave Ramsey snowball debt method, and you can learn about it there. I'm not a huge Dave Ramsey believer, in everything, but I do believe that he has proper tools to help you get out of debt. And so basically, just to give you a skeleton of what that looks like, is that you're going from the smallest to the largest debt and you're working in that order. You need to have $1,000 emergency savings account, okay, for in the event that an emergency happens. Let's say your car breaks down while you're trying to pay the debt. You need to have something that protects you so that you can continue your debt paying off process. But we're going to start with the smallest debt. You need to have a budget in place and ideally, you have at least a cash flow of $500 that's helping you attack that debt every single month. You can lower your expenses through the aid of the budget that helps you organize how much money you have coming in versus how much money you have going out. But this is all a plan. It's a plan and it's a structure. My ba- I love sports. I'm pretty sure most people love sports. And the successful teams have a plan in place. They have structure in place and you don't treat your finances as such, you need to have a plan in place. You need to have structure in place. You need to have a budget in place. You need to have a calendar in place where you are reminded of when you need to pay off your credit cards. Maybe you have auto pay set up. But you need these things in order to be successful financially. And I understand most people didn't teach us these things. But as an adult, you have to take the responsibility to say, I'm going to teach myself these things. There's so many free resources online to educate yourself on how to do these things. Now, again, if you need help, maybe you've gone too far from in this process of what I've discussed, and you have collections now, send us an email, info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com. We will be more than happy to help you, guide you through the process, and help you rebuild your credit. It's not an overnight process. I'm not going to sell you on the dream of we're going to fix your credit in, a lot of people say 30 days. It's not realistic. But if you're willing to work, we can help you out. We can help you rebuild your credit. Send us an email, and I'm wishing you all the best. Until next time, peace.